Hello and welcome everyone, this is Dmitry and we are having another network programmability stream. So glad to be here to spend some time working on some interesting projects and share this journey with you folks. Today we have network programmability stream 37 and we are going to talk about Celery with Django. So in a couple of words briefly before we jump into things that I want to share. So Celery is a distributed task queue, and the general idea is that if you have some long-running tasks, you may offload them and do them somehow separately from your main application. So they are kind of like run in the background, and so that your main application is not blocked. So to be more specific, if you have something like web application, and if a user clicks on some button and when the button is clicked, it should launch some long running task, for example, connect to a network device and perform some command or so, which may take quite a while. Especially if you have to do some kind of config operation, it may take quite a while, like 20 seconds or whatever, or 30 seconds. And during this time, your web application worker is going to be blocked, so no other request will be able to be served. So you kind of like wasting time on this blocking. And you can't serve any other users during that time. So you waste resources of your web worker. This first thing, and the second thing is a user experience. Users on the web do not like to wait for like 30 seconds for a page to load. And this is what would happen if you would just do it naively with if you do it in the request processing. So if you do it like naively, the user will have to wait for like 30 seconds for a page to load, which is also not really great user experience. So in order to mitigate something like this, you would want to use some kind of task queue. You can build it on top of the RabbitMQ or Redis yourself, or you can use tools like Celery, and there are some other projects like RQ or some other stuff that will take care of you and provide some high-level interface. So Celery is very usual choice for this kind of stuff, and this is what we are going to use today. I'm going to tell you more about it and what I have done with Celery after we discuss the next section, which is things that I would like to share with you or some other news. So the first thing is I passed NPDESI exam, which is Cisco Network Programmability Design and Implementation Specialist, last week, and I have no idea why I did it. Probably to feel good or something, I don't know. But yeah, I passed it, so now I am not only GNCIA DevOps certified, but also I am Cisco Network Programmability certified. To be honest, if you do both of these certifications, from my perspective, it doesn't say anything about your network programmability skills at all. But yeah, passing an exam is still a nice feeling. So another thing that I wanted to share with you folks is some update on the exclusive stream that I mentioned on my previous stream. So I am trying to arrange an exclusive stream on some interesting topic which is not available right now. The things that I would like to show is not really available online as of yet. So, and there could be more than one person on the stream too. So I have doing my best to arrange it. I it's very likely that it will happen next week on next Sunday, but you will get an additional announcement during the week, probably like on Tuesday or something. There is still like one uncertainty about like if everyone is okay from the development team with me sharing that. So preliminary it was yes, but I just want to have like a confirmation that yes, you are fine, and there will be no problem with that. So once I do get a confirmation, I will be able to announce it. So please stay tuned on my social media like Twitter or LinkedIn. I will put an announcement once I know details. But there is also like some chance that it may not happen next week. So then I will try to figure something out for following weeks. Okay, now another thing that happened this week and really bothered me when it happened. So about digital privacy on the internet. Don't get me wrong, I have absolutely no illusion that whatever you say on the internet is going to be there first, and then the second that it may be shared with a lot of other companies without my consent or something like that. I have no illusions about that. I think it's happening all the time, and this kind of stuff also affects like how I do things online. Whenever I say something, regardless if it's like personal thing or it's kind of like LinkedIn or something, I always try to approach it from the point that if I say this first, it may be shared with all other corporate companies on the internet, and it will stay there forever and may haunt me for the rest of my life. But there is one thing that happened that just freaked me out so much. So I was talking to a friend of mine on one of the messengers, okay? And he was discussing the potential job role in one of the companies in a foreign country, not in the country he lives or I live, another foreign country, let's put it this way. And at some point I asked him like what is that company, and he told me. And I have never heard about this company before, so that conversation was the first time that I heard about this company. It does provide like some commercial services for physical and commercial customers, and but that was the first time I heard about it, and I didn't like type that company name anywhere after I was told. I just received a message with the name of this company. So then what happened next is that like 5 minutes after that conversation, I went on Instagram to check my feed. I like looking on pictures of my friends that are being posted there. And I kid you not, one of the posts there on my feed was an advertisement by this company that was mentioned. It's company not in my country. It's not a company in the US. I have never heard about this company before, and 5 minutes before I checked my Instagram, this was the first time I ever heard about this company ever. I believe in coincidences, but not this time. And it really freaked me out. I mean, as I said, I have no illusion that there is no digital privacy, a privacy of your digital data on the internet. But it seems like it's even worse than I expected it to be. So I'm not drawing any conclusions. You can do them yourselves, but this is what happened. It really freaked me out, to be honest. And Now I'm going to be even more careful about what I see on the internet as well as what I write. And yeah, but it's kind of scary, I must tell you that. Okay, now next thing is Cisco Live Europe is coming, and I am so excited. Cisco Live is my most favorite event during the year. Obviously, Cisco Live US is my first favorite event, and Cisco Live Europe is my second favorite event during the whole year. I am very pumped and very excited. I'm going to do two presentations, two workshops. One of them is about Python async.io, and another one is about Python and Nornir, and I'm very excited about this. It's going to happen on the last week of January, first week of February. Can't wait. It's going to be in Barcelona again as last year. So if any of you is going to be there, please do let me know. Reach out, find me there somewhere around social media hub, and let's have a coffee and chat about something. I'm always happy to meet my viewers offline. Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention that if you are watching this recording, if you're watching this as a recording on YouTube, I always try doing my best putting the time code under the video. So if you feel like you don't care about some sections, feel free to use that time code to jump into some other section of the video. Okay, that's all I wanted to share with you folks about stuff that happened this week or some news. And let's jump right into today's topic, which is Celery and Django. So when I did an announcement on social media, I told you that some horror stories are going to be included, and I did not lie. I am going to share at least one horror story that happened with me when I was using Celery. Before that, let me talk briefly about my experience with Celery so far. So I haven't used Celery together with Django. I have used Celery together with a Flask. It does change up structure a little bit when you use different web framework. So it's a little bit different when you use it with Flask or with Django. So probably I will not be able to I'm not 100% sure that all of my experience with Celery and Flask is going to be applicable to Celery and Django, but we will see today. I actually have one upcoming project where I will probably need to do that, so I'm going to need to use Celery with Django instead of Celery and Flask. So this is today's journey is going to be very helpful for me for my work. Okay, I think I already talked about Celery briefly, but just to reiterate, Celery is a task queue that allows you to run periodically or on demand some tasks. Most of the time they are long-running tasks, so stuff like let's connect to some network device or something. If you have this kind of long-running tasks that take more than a couple of seconds, you should probably take a look on Celery. Another use case would be if you have to run some periodic tasks. For some reason, Celery is also a very good choice there with your web application. One textbook example for a Celery is when you send an emails. For example, you click forgot password, and then the one-time link is generated and sent to you via email. So stuff like that, for example, is usually done in using Celery. not to block your web app. Um, yeah, so let me talk about my experience. So as I told you, I was using Celery with Flask. And I think the first time I started using that was around 1 year ago. I had a work project where I had to do some stuff on the backend. In particular, I had to connect to a router, do some config change, and save it. And it and the client that was calling that that endpoint in Flask should not hit timeout or something. So yeah, I was doing that using Celery. And to be honest with you, using Celery is quite painful. It's not that is not as straightforward as one might think, especially when you're trying to apply tutorial to like your real world application, which is not in a single Python file or something. It's not that straightforward, it's not that easy. It's quite complex. It requires you to do a lot of trial and error, to read a lot of docs, and I kid you not, every time I have to refactor that application, I want to change some like structure or something, I end up spending a lot of time troubleshooting the Celery piece, like my tasks are not working or something. There are other interesting downsides of Celery, but I think I'm going to talk about them later when we'll see it in action. Let me think if I should do it. Well, you know what? I can actually mention some of them. So, for example, Celery still doesn't support Python 3.7, which I think is a shame. It's really, from all of the libraries I use in Python, this is the only library I actively use which doesn't have Python 3.7 support. But yeah, it is what it is. There are some other stuff, but without context it will be a little bit harder to explain. So what about the horror story? So I do have, like, besides me troubleshooting the Celery all the time for quite a while, and it literally sometimes takes days to find the problem with that. Like 2 days ago, I had to refactor that project that I started 1 year ago. I had to change a lot of stuff there, and I end up, even though I wrote all of that, I end up spending, I think, at least like 8 working hours or so on fixing the Celery problem. It was so frustrating. I even went to bed because I felt like, okay, I don't have mental power anymore to troubleshoot that. And then I came back next day and I still was not able to fix it. And then only like 5 hours on the next day, after 5 hours, I was able to find the problem, but it was not fun. So yeah, horror story. Let me drink some water here. So that work project that I was telling you about, when we deployed it, after some time we noticed the following problem. So one of the Celery tasks was, we had to use some other API to some other backend it was doing a post to create a session, and it just had to save an ID that was receiving. However, at that time when we started that project, the backends, the backend service where I had to launch the API request from Celery was not yet up. It was not built yet. but we had to deploy it already. Okay, we had to like deploy this first piece with the Flask and Celery already, but when until the stat server was up. So I was doing it with Celery. I added retry mechanism to Celery, which was trying to do. Let me think for a moment. What was it trying to do? Yeah, oh yeah, it was trying to do it 18 times with exponential backoff timer. So it was trying to like create a session to this stat server, then it failed, and then it tried again after 2 seconds, and then it tried after 4 seconds, and then after 8 seconds. And I think like in total we had around 20 retries or something. So the last attempt would be like 1 day after the task is initiated or something. And one other thing that application was doing, it was sending Cisco Spark message when the task fails. So if any of the tasks finally fails, so in this case this particular task would fail after like 18 or 20 attempts, once it like completely fails, my app was sending a Spark message to a specific Spark room saying that okay, we had this task in this particular environment and it failed. So here are the symptoms of the problem that that we had were the following. We were receiving around 250 Spark messages 1 day after the start of that session. You're receiving 250 Spark messages instead of 1 for that specific session. Okay? And damn, I was so confused. And also at that point, like I barely had like Celery experience, so it was really a lot of like trial and error. And I was like testing in my development environment with some smaller retries attempts. So like on my dev environment, I was testing it with like 4 retry attempts, so it would be done within a minute or so. And it was completely fine. I always was receiving 1 Spark message in the end. But in our production environment, we were receiving around 250 Spark messages at the same time, at the same second. Yeah, I was so confused. I tried a lot of stuff. I think I spent around a week trying to find a problem. So what really happened was that there is a default what is called visibility timeout in Celery. And after the task starts, and when it hits the visibility timeout, the task is I don't remember like 100%, but the task is multiplied, and it's kind of like reassigned to a new worker while the old worker could still work on it. So after that visibility timeout, if you have any kind of long running tasks, like if you had 1 task, it would be 2 tasks. Then if those 2 tasks hit the visibility timeout again, then it would be 4 tasks. So basically, because of this default setting, the tasks were the number of tasks was exponentially increasing, resulting in a bunch of same tasks. Yeah, this was what was causing the problem. Very nasty problem, very nasty thing. And I read so many docs when I was troubleshooting that, and I had a hard time finding this problem. So let me actually bring up their docs on that. So Celery visibility timeout. The visibility timeout defines the number of seconds to wait for the worker to acknowledge a task before the message is already delivered out to another worker. Yeah, and default is 1 hour for redis. And we had tasks which were running for like 1 day or so. So yeah, this was my problem, but finally I found it, and I was happy that I was able to fix it. And also, like, sometime after that, if you try to look for like Celery in production, or Celery lessons learned or something, there are also some other very good blog posts. I think I read majority of this on the first page, and the visibility timeout was in one of those too. So if you're looking forward to deploying Celery in your production, I do encourage you to actually, after like doing tutorials and stuff, before doing the actual deploy, please do something like this. Do Googling for like Celery lessons learned or Celery in production, and read every single one of those. It will save you weeks of your time. Yeah, I'm not going to go through those right now, but a lot of these blog posts have very good suggestions, like, okay, you have to set a global task timeout. You may want to use fair queue, exponential retry delays. There are some other more generic advices, like you may want to open your like database connection or something directly inside of your task instead of passing it as an argument. Yeah, there are a lot of quirks and weird corner cases with redis. With Celery. Okay, so let's kind of like start moving to an actual hands-on part. So one of the things that you have to know is that, well, Celery itself is just a Python application which builds on top of the queue itself, and your queue is basically the place where your tasks are stored until specific time or something, and then your worker, which in this case would be Celery worker, Celery Python application, at some time, either based on the schedule or when time comes to that item, it will pop up from the queue, and that Python app is going to work, do the work. So the place where you store the queue is not the Python app itself. It's not Celery itself. It's usually one of two things. It's either RabbitMQ, which is task queue, or it's another very popular key value store, which is called redis. So redis is very often used as a replacement for like memcached or something. It's kind of like a in-memory cache for your things for very quick access. with some like time to live if you want, and so on and so forth. So you need to have an instance of RabbitMQ or Redis. I think they started adding other systems as well, but I personally use it with Redis since I'm more familiar with Redis. I don't use RabbitMQ. So in Celery terms, this is what is called broker. So broker is basically a place, and I should stop using the word basically. Broker is a place where you store your tasks. So yeah, it can be either Redis or RabbitMQ. You may also want to have something what is called a results backend. So depending on your actual tasks, you may or may not want to store results from the tasks. For example, it really depends on the use case, I must tell you. When you send an email, for example, you don't really need any kind of result majority of the time. But if you have some kind of thing which returns a result and you have to access it somehow from your app later, then you would also need results backend. So the usual choice for results backend is actually Redis. So you may want to use different systems for as broker or as a results backend. So I personally like to use the same, probably because I don't have any scale or something. I usually have very simple needs for the apps that I'm doing. So I use Redis for both as the broker and the as a results backend. Okay. Now, another interesting piece that is happening is whenever you use broker and or results backend, whenever you pass arguments to your task, okay, imagine this scenario. You want to start a task and actually you want to schedule a task, okay, from your app. You want to schedule some task to be done in exact this time and this seconds, this date and this time, okay? Now, this task is not going to be stored in your Python app. This task is going to be stored partially in your broker backend. So in your broker backend, as far as I know, and don't quote me on that because I may be wrong here, as far as I understood, you save the task name as a string, you save a task ID, and you save your arguments that you pass. But here is the catch, okay? If you do that, whatever you pass there must be serialized, because you can't just store some Python object in the database like by default, okay? You can't do that. You have to serialize it somehow. And Celery supports a number of serializing options. And there is a number. So by default is JSON. So if you use JSON, then whatever you pass as an arguments to your tasks must be JSON serializable, or you may need to write your own JSON serializer. This may be also an option. The previous default, which is no longer default, was Pickle. So with Pickle, you can serialize any kind of Python object in a file and then load it back. But Pickle is a security concern. With Pickle, you can actually, if you substitute your file with something else, you can actually run arbitrary Python code there. So it's not a good idea to use pickle, so they change the default to JSON. And there are some other serialization formats like YAML here, and I think they also supported something else. I think they supported message pack. I have never used message pack before, so I don't really know like its advantages and stuff. I personally try to use JSON for everything, but as I told you, very important point is if you do that, you have to make sure that every single argument that you pass in your task is JSON serializable. So it means that if you have some kind of object that you want to pass, you actually have to write your own JSON serializer for it. Yep. So keep that in mind. I stumbled upon this also when I wanted to store like an additional argument. I had problems with that in the Celery until like I understood the architecture more. So yeah, we are going to use JSON probably for our stuff. So what this really means is that, for example, if you have some object in database that you have to look up in your task and stuff, usually you would want to pass an ID of the object as a simple type like string or integer, whatever the type of your ID is. And then inside of the task you will actually go to database, retrieve an actual object and do whatever you want with that object, instead of getting the object from outside of your Celery and then passing that as an argument to your task. So you would probably don't want to do that. Instead, you would want to pass an ID of the object. So this kind of implications you really have to think when you start writing the Celery application. Okay, I think enough talking. I think we spent like 37 minutes in total so far for talking. Let's actually go ahead and start writing code. As I told you, I have experience with Flask and Celery. I don't have experience with Celery in Django, so part of it probably is going to be new for me. That said, I'm pretty sure that understanding of Celery architecture will help me get it right. So let's, if you remember, like 2 months or so, we had the stream about Django app. So I'm going to take the Django app. I think it's a perfect example where we can start leveraging the Celery to build our stuff much better than we had before. To be honest, I barely remember what this application does. So okay, I see that I'm using old version of the poetry here, so probably I would want to change that. So okay, let me think. Let me remove my virtual environment from here first, and then let me check what Python version is my default right now. It's 3.6.8. okay. Since Celery doesn't support 3.7, make sure that you use Python 3.6 or lower. My default choice is obviously Python 3.6. Okay, so I will have to create a virtual environment. Now, let me think. Yeah, I will have to say poetry run pip install you pip. So this will create a virtual environment with updated pip. And it says, well, yeah, current Python version is not supported by project. Please activate a compatible Python version. Why? Okay, this is not it. We have to go here to Django part, and then we have to go to PyProject.toml. Oh yeah, here I have a problem, so I have to put it like this. Yeah, and then you know what? Give me a second, folks. I'm going to look up one of my other projects. I'm going to add my development dependencies here from there. I don't need Python decouple so far. I think so. Okay, network stream Django, awesome network controller, likes its MIT, Python APAL, Timecode Django. All right. Wait, what? Actually, I want to change this to stars. Okay, good. So now I should be able to say the same thing. So it should create a virtual environment for me, which it does. And then I'm going to do poetry update first. No, poetry install first, and then poetry update. Okay, this will take some time. Meanwhile, I actually don't know what this file is. Delete this. Docker ignore, Docker file. Oh yeah, we also had the stream where I was Dockerizing my my Python app. Actually, meanwhile, I can I? Yeah, I can change this a little bit. I can, yeah, let me see, because solver problem error, because network stream Django depends on PyTest star, which doesn't match any version. What is going on here? This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Depends on PyTest 4. Okay, I think this will get it working. Okay, meanwhile, I need to have another window here. I have to look up one thing from my other project. So all right, so new scratch file. Okay, poetry log. I want to update this a little bit. We will, the reason I am updating this, since we will have to build a Docker compose file to like launch Celery worker, to launch the redis and stuff, so I think I will have to update the this a little bit. Okay, this looks good. So poetry install, no def, no interaction. I don't need to change ownership though. No, I don't need that. And then I copy entry point sh file. Okay, I don't need that as well. We do need to expose port on this thing. And then workdir is incorrect here. And then I also don't need to make directory here as well. Since I will have to mount a volume with my app, so workdir app, I will have to map this folder to app folder. Pip install no cache, poetry run, python manage, py run server. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. I would also need, I think, to if I want to keep everything the way it's supposed to inside of the Docker container, I would need to mount the SQLite. Oh, actually, I don't need to map SQLite since it's going to be in the right place anyway. So yeah, I don't think I need that. I don't need to create a new user here. I can run as root for my needs. And I think this is pretty much it here. So let's see if our poetry got updated here, which it did. So, and let's say poetry install again. I think the problem was because I had a log file which was not updated. Yeah, nothing to install. And then now I think I should be able to go to PyProject.toml and say star here. And then it should update this poetry update. Okay. Yay. Okay, now this looks good. I have to double check that this container is up and running. So let's think this through. So I have the SQLite, I have app directory, I install a bunch of stuff. I also will need these other libraries, so and also don't need curl. Do you guys pronounce curl or curl? Let me see. Is there any updates in the chat? Splatfished, thank you for following. I'm sorry I noticed this just 1 hour later. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to not notice that. Yeah, folks, you are not very active in the chat these days, but that's alright. Oh, yeah, I think this is good. So I create an app folder, I copy their PyProject and poetry log, I install some stuff, I install poetry, I want to create virtual environment, I update the pip, and then I do poetry install -- no dev, and then I also expose the port. Yeah, this looks good to me. And then we do Python manage py run server this. Yeah, this looks good. So I should be able to build this container run and check if my app is still up and running. I am actually pretty confident this is going to work unless I did some typo or something. Yeah. So let's go ahead and try this. So I would have to say docker build -t, no, first -f docker file dev, and then -t, and here we put a label. So let netproc stream Django dev or something. Let's do it like this, dev, and then dot for the context. So let's do that and let's wait for these to finish. And if it's going to be finished, we also will have to start writing a Docker compose to bring up a redis and some other stuff. And that part I'm also going to borrow from my Flask app, the Docker compose file, so that we don't waste too much time, since it actually takes quite a while to understand how to bring that all up. So I'm going to copy that part where I have like a service for my container and stuff. Yes, this looks good to me so far. Yeah, this will take some time. I actually had a nasty problem with bcrypt recently and cryptography modules. I've used these two on Docker Alpine. So apparently, and I think we also stumbled upon this problem on the stream when I was building a Docker file for this project. So apparently, if you don't upgrade the pip to the latest version, if you use a version of pip like 10 or something, then you can install bcrypt, the latest version. It was also not an interesting problem to solve, I must tell you. Okay, it will take some time. So once we can actually start building the compose file to bring up Celery and all this stuff. And you see that I'm not even like looking on the tutorial for Celery yet. We don't touch the Celery part yet. But based on what I told you so far, we already need some other infrastructure, right? We need our redis. We need we need redis right now, and we need this another service for Celery worker, since it's going to be running in a separate container. So we already have to think about those things. So it's really taking a lot of time when you're installing it. So meanwhile, I'm going to take a look on my Docker compose file for development as well. Maybe. Okay, compose YAML. Dev YAML. And I think we would need to damn it. I'm thinking we will have to change things here. Since I'm going to run this I mean, I can also start running like nginx, for example. Why not? And yes, there is another change that I'm going to do here. I don't like, so since it's development, I don't have to put everything in a single command. So I'm going to break this down so these dependencies are installed. Ah, damn. Yeah, I would have to move this here. So just to clarify what I'm doing, if you want to have like production Docker image, usually you want to put as many commands in one run statement as possible. It creates less layers in the Docker image. Now, if you are in development phase, though, what you may want to do is you may want to break those into different layers so that parts of it are going to be cached. So the next time you run something like Docker build, this is going to be reused. So what I did here, I broke those run statement and I inserted this copy by project toml in this place. The reason why, well, what's going to happen is this part is going to be cached, which is some system level dependencies plus poetry itself. Then we are going to copy our files, and then we are going to install Python dependencies. So this means, since this part may change, like I'm going to add G-unicorn or something, and this will have to run again, I'm kind of like caching this part, but this is going to be rerun, which I think makes sense. So yeah, we will probably need G-unicorn. I'm thinking if I should add nginx here to the mix, or I really shouldn't yet. I don't know yet. I think for now we can skip nginx part and the separate database part for now, and then we'll see. Since this, wow, it really takes a lot of time. Since this stream is more about Celery than the Docker, so I don't feel that we need to spend time on like nginx and stuff. So I'm looking here on my other screen. I'm sorry I can't share that screen with you, since it's for like my work project. So I'm copying the compose file from there that I wrote, and I'm going to modify it on a different screen partially, and then just 1 second, folks. Alright, I think I got rid of like parts that I can't show to you, so I think I'm ready to bring this up here. And I don't need the Python file, I need just the file. So this is going to be docker compose def YAML. And I'm copying this here. So what this has, it has services like Flask. This is going to be changed. And the entry point is going to be changed here. I think I can leave the Django built-in server for now. It's not big of a deal. So services, let's call it Django build context. So build context, this is going to be, we don't need the context, by the way, since we it should be in the same folder. Then docker file minus def, container name is going to be Django. Python unbuffered. Yeah, about that. Let's create a log folder. And I'm also going to create a data folder as well. So .log is going to be mapped as log. And file, for now I don't have any environment. So this is going to depend on Celery. Is this going to be depending on Celery? No, I don't think so. No, in this case it doesn't depend on Celery. So then here is nginx, but as we discussed, we don't need it right now. We are going to use built-in Django server. Then we have redis for Alpine, restart on failure, container name, redis, and user. Okay, I don't need the user. cctls, netcore, so max connection. I think I can leave this. And volumes, yeah, we will have to map the volume data. Though this is not necessary in this case. And then, so I have Django, redis, and Celery. Now, one of the things that you may already start seeing here is the Celery app. By default, it shares the application code with your web app, and I think it's a bad idea. I mean, your worker code is not necessarily connected with your web backend, and this was one of the things that is bothering me in the whole Celery world. There is a way to mitigate this using send task, where you kind of like send it to a different instance of the worker, but I have never tried it. And there are not so many examples on the internet like how to actually do that. So in the easiest way, if you follow the tutorial, you would need to have your code to run your tasks be mixed with your web app, which I do not know why it's the case. Okay, I will map the log folder here as well. So volumes log depends on redis, and then poetry run Celery worker. Yeah, we'll have to work on that a little bit. And then there is PULG event concurrent C15. That part is fine. So actually, we don't need context here as well. I'm pretty much happy with this. This looks good to me. Now let's look on our container. We'll have to rebuild it anyway. For some reason, okay, so this container was built. Poetry run manage py run server. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We will have to run the different. Okay, I think we are good. So, well, not exactly. No, we will have to map the source code since it's development Docker Compose. We'll also have to map the source code itself. So we'll have to map netproc stream Django as an app, and I'm going to do it here as well. So we are mapping a source code, so this should be fine. Should this be fine? Yeah, it should be fine. So we map this, and then inside of it there will be DBSQLite. Yeah, I think that's all right. So then let me bring the Docker file dev on the right hand side. So if you look here, Python blah blah blah, run expose, there is poetry run Python manage py run server. Yes. So okay, so for this container, this command is going to run. Now for Celery container, we'll have to change the command a little bit. Now what this also means is that we have to add the Celery as part of our dependencies. So yeah, let me think. We have here Python, Napalm, Netmiko, Django. Yeah, all right. So let's do poetry add Celery. So this is going to add the Celery package to my dependencies. Yeah, that's good. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's all right. So we have this. Celery is here. Now we will have to rebuild container, but since this Docker file says build, so it's actually can build it for me from here. Yeah, so I think I can try. Yeah, well, not so fast. Yeah, not so fast. Let's do this. I'm going to comment out this Celery piece for now, and then we should be able to to do this. So we will run Django and redis, even though we don't need redis without Celery yet. So if I say docker compose -f docker compose dev file, and then I say up, I think this should be alright. Yeah, let's do this. Let's see. Docker compose file is invalid. Service Django has neither an image nor a build context. Okay, you actually have to specify context. Okay, so the context here is going to be dot then. And here's the context is going to be dot as well. Okay, let's run this again. Okay, now it's building our container. I'm actually very surprised that we don't have a lot of people on the stream today. But I mean, it's not like, it's not a problem, but I really expected a lot more people, since something like Celery you would hear a lot. And there are a lot of like tutorials, but not all of them like in video format and doing everything from scratch. So I do not know. I expected more people, but that's fine. It'll take some time. Cryptography module is pain in the ass to build, since it's building from the source. To be fair, I can actually go ahead and start looking on the Django Celery tutorial while we are waiting. So let's just go ahead and say Django Celery. Okay, so they say if you have a modern layout like this, then the recommended way is to create proch Celery py. Okay, so we will go ahead here and wait, what? Oh yeah. We will need here to create the Celery py. And it would be good if I could spell it correctly. Okay, so Celery py, and it says I'm going to like copy the whole thing here. Django settings module proch settings. Set the default Django settings module for the Celery program. Yeah. I think this part is in the manage py. It's very yeah. You'll have to do copy this. So import OS. Why it's not recognizing Celery? Oh, okay. You will we'll change the Python interpreter here for this project. Yeah, it really takes a long time to build an Alpine container. So pvd this, and this should be venv here in Python. This should work, and it should disappear from here. Why I don't hear music anymore? Oh, okay, I see now. This is annoying. My pretzel just stopped working. Did it finish? No, it's, oh, god damn it. Yeah, when you install these two modules as well as LXML, so these two are being installed from source, and this one is being installed from source. They have some C dependencies. Damn, it takes a long time for them to install. I think now music is just a little bit too loud. Okay, yeah. So let's kind of like look through this. We say OS environment, set default Django settings module, network stream settings. Okay, so what this does is points to the settings PY, and then we also say using a string here means the worker doesn't have to serialize the configuration object to child processes. Namespace Celery means all Celery related config keys should have a Celery prefix. Namespace Celery means all Celery related config keys should be a Celery. Okay, so we have to go here, and I think what they mean is that if I want to configure something in Celery, now I have to add here, we think like a variable starting with Celery underscore, and then we say load task modules from all registered Django app configs. Okay, what this really means is we will have to create the task py file. I think it was somewhere in the tutorial. We'll by the way keep this debug task. Keeping the debug task in the same file as you have your Celery app instantiation is actually very important. Trust me, since sometimes your tasks are not registered and you really want to have something like this to check if some applications are being registered or not. Okay, and then there is this load task modules. Okay, so what this means, it's looking for tasks py inside of all registered Django app configs. Okay, fine. Before going forward, wow, this still just takes forever, just forever to run. Okay. Then you need to import this app into your project unit PYs. This ensures that the app is loaded when Django starts, so that the shared task decorator mentioned later will use it. Alright, so what we have to do, I just have to copy this. They say, you know what, just import the Celery app in your root of your project so that it's automatically imported. Let's kind of look through this a little bit. So I also don't like the relative, well, in the init file I can actually use it. So we, in the init file, we actually import this. So what this means is that whenever you do from network stream import something, this Celery, this piece of code is going to run. Okay. Wow, music became just too loud. Okay. Notice this example project layout is suitable for larger projects. For simple projects, you may use a single contained module that defines both app and task. Actually, I don't like this. Let's break down what happens in the first module. Okay, there are a couple of pieces that I'm already going to change. What is going on here? WTF is going on here? So redis was built correctly. Well, it wasn't built, it was just downloaded. But then Django says runtime error, poetry couldn't find it by project toml in app or its parents. What do you mean? Okay, here's what we need to do. Yeah, and it actually broke and it just shut down. It's exited with code 1. Wow. Like literally wow. Poetry couldn't find it by project toml in app or its parents. What is going on here? I mean, I definitely have it here. And I have worked your app. Like, what do you mean? Okay, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to say docker images grep netprog. And then here we have what is going on here. Why it's building this weird name? God damn it. Okay. I think I will have to go to my docker compose file and say something like this. Meanwhile, we say docker run it rm this latest and then shell. Okay, so I'm now inside of the well, I'm in the app folder and there is a PyProject toml here, which it should be, which seems to be just fine. And I have a virtual environment here, which also seems to be fine. Poetry run, pip install, poetry install, no def, no interaction. Am I an idiot? Oh, okay. Wait a second. something is not right here. Okay, what I did, I mounted this network stream Django as /app. Okay, so let's actually damn. Okay, I think I know the problem. So yeah, I see the problem. We mounted incorrectly, so I don't know how to fix it properly. I guess I can move the yeah, well, I would need to do something like this. So instead we will install everything in the root folder. We'll have PyProject toml and no, it's not a proper design. We would need to move this network stream Django as network stream Django. So then our directory structure in the app should be a PyProject toml and poetry log, and then there should be this. And then also, well, I can leave it. This part I can leave it. Okay, so then we just change things just a little bit. Now, since I have here workdir app, no, this is not correct. Poetry run python manage py. Yeah, I see this is incorrect, since we would have to go to the network stream Django folder here. Like this, and then I can run this command. Okay, alright. So before, can I start rebuilding? Well, I can actually start rebuilding, and it's not big of a deal. Except I just want to change one thing. So what I don't like to do is I want to have this and this. Well, actually I think I can leave it. Yeah, I can leave it, that's fine. So then we have Celery up here. Okay, so then they say what this does, what that does. Okay, you don't need this line, but it saves you always from passing in the settings module to the Celery program. This is our instance of the library. We can have many instances, but there is probably no reason for that when using Django. We also had Django settings module as configuration source. This means that you don't have to use multiple config files. Instead, configure a Celery directly from Django settings, but you can also separate them if you wanted to. The uppercase namespace must be specified in uppercase instead of lowercase. So task always eager setting becomes Celery task always eager. Yeah, so they say here create task py, and then auto discover tasks will take care of that for you, of discovering the tasks. Okay, so one thing that is important here is that I need to specify some Celery settings. It's very crucial here. So I will have to specify at least broker and maybe results backend. So for that, I'm also going to take a look on my work project, a file that I built just a couple of days ago, and take an inspiration from that. Okay, I'm going to copy one piece to my file. And then I'm going to modify it the way it should be. Okay. Well, actually, I can just create the Scratch file. So file, new Scratch file, Python. I will move it to the opposite group and I will put it here. Okay, so since we have app config from object, I should specify all of my settings with Celery prefix. Alright, so I go to my settings PY and here I will start doing stuff like broker URL and this, well, I have to look this up also. Okay, so this is URL for redis and this is database instance number. So we'll have the first instance of the database for the broker and then we'll have result backend here. So result backend will store those in the database one. So this is the first piece, so we have these two. We don't need task limit right now. We don't also need to change the visibility timeout as of yet. We don't need retries right now. No, I don't think so. So for now, I think we are okay. So we just damn, what's happening with my voice? Okay. Yeah, Celery broker URL becomes Celery broker URL. So here I also need to check result backend. Is it here? Yeah, Celery result backend. It should be result backend. Okay, alright, so this looks good. Auto discover tasks. The way you don't have to manually add individual modules to the Celery import settings. Alright, finally debug task example is a task that dumps its own request information. This is using the new bind true task option introduced in Celery. Okay, this is pretty much straightforward, but there are still some corner cases. Now this is something new for me. I haven't used shard task decorator before. The task you write will probably live in reusable apps, and reusable apps cannot depend on the project itself, so you can't import your app instance directly. Well, it's for people who kind of like really rely heavily on reusable apps. I'm actually not a fan of reusable apps at all, but I am going to share task anyway, so we can get it working. So demo app tasks py will have another task. So I'm going to just copy this stuff as well, kind of to make sure that those tasks are being registered and those that I can use them. All of this I don't need. So in the network tasks py, I have to do this. Okay, yeah, this looks good to me. So I should have debug task and all these three tasks that are doing some math that is completely irrelevant. Now, this is an interesting part. You have to be consistent how you import task module. For example, if you have project.app in installed apps, then you must also import the tasks from project app, or else names of the task end up being different. Okay, I have to check my settings py again. And yeah, actually this is incorrect. So this should be netproc I don't know. It seems okay. Some renaming time. So this should be lowercase. Okay, this should be a lowercase. And then in PyProject toml, well, I can leave it like this, it should pick it up. So then in my settings py file, where is this? Where is this? Yeah, here. So we have to change the way it's being imported. So network stream Django. Well, no, we just have this project called network stream, and we will change this as well. So this is going to be network stream, and then my PyProject toml should change as well. So my PyProject toml should say network stream. Yeah, I think I can leave hyphen as well. Let's just, yeah, do this. Now the Docker file will have to change a bit. So net proc stream. Net proc stream. So here we change this a little bit, and Docker compose is going to change as well. So yeah, this is going to change to network stream, and this is going to change to network stream. The same thing is going to happen here. Network stream. All right. This is good. Yeah, well, seems fine to me. Okay, so I think I can also uncomment this part. Okay, and then here the command, I should be very careful. So we are going to rewrite the command, so it should be poetry run celery worker -a. So with -a, I have to be careful. So this should be netproc stream I think it should be like netproc stream twice, and then celery app. I think so. I may be incorrect. So it should be, I think, network stream, and then here is the celery app, and then it's pull G event concurrency. Yeah, this part looks good to me. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. This will rebuild our container again. But extensions, starting the worker process. In the production environment, you will want to run the worker in the background as a daemon. See daemonization for testing and development. It is useful to be able to start a worker instance by using celery worker manage command. Much as you use manage py run server. See, I don't know. Yeah, I think This should be like this. Yeah, I was troubleshooting for my other project stuff like this and some other things. And we're okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I don't think this is going to work on my first attempt, but let's hope, right? Okay, docker compose f docker compose dev yaml up. Before we'll have to build actually. While it's building, I can actually go ahead and start changing things. I think we had network and I had views, and then I have there some things which are not needed anymore. So whenever we do post, it would be really good if I was able to bring my app again back to show you this. But the app was kind of like, it showed a table of devices and a list of interfaces from the device, and you were able to switch an interface. So whenever you like switch an interface and click submit, I think at that point we could actually offload that to Celery. I mean, ideally I would build the whole API service, but it's not topic of today's stream and it would take much longer. But so what I want to do is here, when I say request, post and stuff, I want to get this info, but then I want to move this config set to the offload this to worker. So I will copy this part right now, and then this is going to be put here. This is going to be shared task and dev, let's say switch interface, right, or something. So the switch interface is going to accept parameters from our form, which is interface name, which is a string, and then enable interface, which is a string, and then config commands. No, not config commands, just these two. And then this is not going to do anything, so we return none, so we don't need the results backend here. So then we are copying all of this part. This is pretty much the same. Interesting. Where are we getting the device? Oh yeah, so we will also need to pass device ID as well. So device ID is going to be string as well. So it all starts with getting the device here. So this is our device from the database. So we also will need to import the models from network stream network models, import the device. Okay, and then we are getting our device based on device ID here. We are having our commands, and then we say if enable interface, it will shut down. If not, we will null shut down. Then we create config parameters. Okay, now we also have to import this connection handler here. so that we can open a session. So we connect handler as device connection, send config set, and we are sending config commands. Now we don't need any kind of redirect, so that's pretty much that this is going to do. Yeah, so this basically we have our task here. Now I don't want to change this right now because I want to make sure that it's still up and running. Wow, it takes forever. And of course I will do a mistake somewhere, and then I will have to wait another 10 minutes to build the container. Is it done? No. You know what, folks? I will step down for just a minute. I mean, I think we did almost everything we needed to do, but right now it's just waiting. So I will step down for a minute and I will be back shortly. Alright, and I am back and the container is built, so I can try doing up. Now actually I was thinking, like, why it takes so long. Damn it. I think I know what this might be. Not good. So what is happening is, oh, and I also don't have gvat. God damn it. And then it also says no module network stream network. Why is that? Why there is no module? Okay, I think I know what that is. So there are two things. I think I need to add the init py. This is the first piece. Now second piece is I need to run poetry install as well. So since I am mounting my code there, I can install this network stream before the mount. Ahmad, thank you so much for following, really appreciate it. Yes, something is not okay here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was doing network stream underscore and then network stream network, and in manage py we load the settings and then execute from command line. Could import Django, and I think there is another piece in here. Should be within settings, which gets to like upper directory and then installed apps. Let's put it back to the network app. I mean, since we are in this folder where we have managed py file, we can have like network stream dot import or network dot import. Okay, I don't think it's going to fix our problem, but I'm willing to try this anyway to see kind of like what the error message is. Also, we need to add a G event to the list of our dependencies. So then we will need another build. Hey Project DP, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I feel awesome, excited. I'm a little bit sad there are not so many people today on the stream. But that's alright. I mean, since my primary purpose is for me to learn something, and then it's okay. So, though it's still a little bit sad. So, okay, I stopped this container. And how are you doing, Project DP? Any interesting projects or other things that happened during this week that you would like to share with us? Oh, thank you so much for your recommendation, really appreciate it. yeah, if I want to for this to be faster, I should not use Alpine in the first place. Okay, I mean, this worked, but now Docker build is going to take again forever. Now there is one additional piece that just bothers me in these first steps here. What is this? No, not here. You have to be consistent with how you import task manager. For example, if you have project.app installed apps, you also must import tasks from project.app, or else. I mean, where should I? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I know what it is. So, yeah, I think we should be fine now. I'm still going to keep it like this. I'm going to rebuild it, and then I am going to see if there are any questions or comments in the chat while it's rebuilding. I actually think at this point I should switch to some other distribution that it. What is going on here? Oh, I didn't rebuild it. Yeah, I actually think at this point I should switch to another distribution to make my builds faster for like LXML and stuff. I mean, on Alpine it's just taking forever. Let's see. There's some more people doing Python things and some interest in networking. I really like where that is going with Twitch. More interest in programming, Python, and the sort. Yeah, I do agree with you. I was just yesterday I read a tweet from, I forgot the name of the guy, but he's very famous in Python community. Let me find it. So let me find it through my Twitter. Since I retweeted it, it should be somewhere on my Twitter page. So yeah, this guy Armin. So Armin is the I think he's behind Flask. Yeah, he's creator of Flask, and he's working for Sentry. And I actually really like Sentry. I think they have an amazing product. Yeah, he was asking people if he should stream, and obviously people were excited to see him working. I mean, obviously he's much more advanced coder than I am. He built a Flask that is being used by tens of thousands of people, or maybe even more. So, but that's pretty cool. That's quite a number of total views. Let me see. So here's the thing. He started streaming yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, and he has 2,000 views in total, and those are like all like cumulated views from all of your streams. I have 5,300 after 1 year of streaming. So yeah, this guy is in different leagues than I am. That said, I'm streaming about some network programmability mostly, not always. Like today is more about like Celery, but still. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited that other people are doing that, starting streaming about IT. I think it's amazing. Like, if I have some free time and and I don't feel like watching some YouTube or some TV series, I would definitely watch someone streaming about code. And also, I think probably the biggest advantage and the biggest advantage of this kind of streaming, especially with people who have a lot of followers, like this guy, is the chat is very active, and there are a lot of very smart people in the chat. A lot of the reason I'm saying this, I was watching two streamers a little bit. I was watching this girl who was actually an inspiration for me to start streaming on Twitch. Her username is Noobcat. She's very popular. She has 10,000 followers, and she works, I think, for Microsoft, or she was working for Microsoft, and she's doing JavaScript mostly. And she has been doing streaming for, I think, like 3 years or so already. And there are a lot of people watching her simultaneously, and like whenever she struggles with something or she can't find some solution, like within a couple of minutes there's somewhere in the chat who will help out and share some very valuable information, or find a bug which the streamer didn't see yet. This is so cool. Now there is also another guy, and I'm sorry that I'm talking, but this LXML is installing for like 5 minutes on Alpine, so it's not like I have anything else to do while it's building. Now there's another guy which I started seeing his streams recently. His name is Adam. So Twitch, Adam Game Dev Linux. Let me see. No. Twitch Adam. This guy. Is this guy? Yeah. This guy. And this guy, he has his kind of like side project. Wow, it's almost 2 years, man. This guy is just crazy, in a good sense. So this guy has been streaming about the side project from like completely start to like until today, and he is streaming about everything, like code, like deploy, testing, and he does everything on the stream. And I guess and he's streaming like full day, so he's streaming on 4 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, from 9 till 5 p.m. So it's the whole working day. And I guess this is how he earns money. So since he's doing it like a working day, he also has a lot of big base of followers. He is I think partner as well or something, so he can actually earn money on Twitch. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, seeing people like this doing some interesting stuff is very, very cool. Okay, let's see. Our LXML was installed, so we are almost there. We still have to install gevent, but that will not take a long time. And I think I will have to switch to another base. It's just too long. I don't have enough patience. We will try this one last time here. If I still have some issue that can be fixed without rebuilding container, then I am going to rewrite my Docker file to use Python Slim version. Now I am actually even thinking maybe I shouldn't use that at all. I mean, maybe I wanted to sneeze, but then it stopped, and it's not great feeling. So I was thinking maybe if it really takes that long time, maybe I should not use Docker at all. Like, I shouldn't Dockerize my application itself, and then I could run it like locally in, yeah, you know what, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that if this build is unsuccessful, because I mean, we spent waiting for at least 15 minutes in total on the stream just for waiting for the container to build. It's not really cool, is it? So yeah, I think if this fails now and I need to rebuild container, I hate this. Yeah, okay, I'm done here. So no Docker anymore. So if no Docker, we will have to do some adjustments. I think I will have to use here localhost. Or no, you know what? I can actually still use redis. I am going to build a redis container. Rename Docker container. I think it's minus name or something. Yeah, it's minus name. Okay. So I can run Redis as a container not to pollute my system. So let me look on my Docker Compose. Actually, I am going to start rebuild process, and meanwhile I'm going. What? Meanwhile I'm going to try doing the fix. So. Okay. There's some containers up and running. What is this? Okay, stop. Okay. Stop. Shop. Haha. Nice. Okay, good. So I think here I can I? Well, I don't need, yeah, I think it will be fine. So if you say docker run name redis, and then redis for minus alpine. What do you mean it's already in use? Yeah, I will have to redo this a little bit. So here we'll have to say docker build -f docker file def and then we'll say -t, we put a label, and then we say dot. So that what is going on here? Oh, it's minus. Okay. Okay, so this runs, this builds container, even though we will try doing that without. So here, let's do docker ps. Okay, this builds container, which is fine. So then we can run our redis, please, redis. The container name /redis is already, oh, okay. I have to remove it. I have to remove this container. Okay, now I can run my redis. Okay, now I'm running redis. So if I open a new screen, I should be able to like ping redis, or I should be able to say like telnet redis 6379 is the correct port. I don't remember. Yeah, actually not correct. Docker redis. Since I'm not using the Docker compose anymore, I would have to change this. I will have to expose this port when I run the container. So I have to say, I have to restart this container. I have to say -p 6379 is correct? Yeah, 6379 inside the container and the same port outside of the container. And then, god damn it. So docker rm this container. I will also add --rm so that container is removed when it's stopped. Okay, so Redis is working, it's on the default port. So now if I telnet to Redis, you should be able to ping Redis. Oh, yeah, no. Docker refer to container by container name. Okay, no. I will need to use localhost. Okay, localhost. Okay, so if I say telnet localhost 6379, okay, I can connect. Okay, good. So yeah, I can connect to Redis, which is what we wanted. This is still building, but we don't care about this anymore. We have to run our app. How do we do that? It's poetry run python manage py run server. Okay, so poetry run python. Poetry run python manage py. Like literally, what is going on here? Yeah, just here. So poetry run python manage py, and then run server, and I have to And I also have to make sure that I can accept connections from localhost, which I'm not sure I am. So I think here I should add localhost. Maybe. Okay, let's run this. Okay, this is up and running. So if I go to localhost 8000, okay, this is my app. Okay, now we already built it like quite a while ago. So hello stream, this is Dmitry, and we have table of our devices. Now this table is being taken from our SQLite. Now when you click on one of these devices, it will go connect to that device and get the interface list, and it will build a table like this. So here are all of the interfaces on my CSR dev, and there's a checkbox if it's enabled or up, and then there is a button to switch it on or off. Okay, now our main task for all of this, I mean ideally when I click on this should do an API request, and then once the API response is being built, then we populate this table. We are not going to do that today. It's just, it will require JavaScript, front end, blah blah blah, just long. Since the focus on today's topic is Celery, what I'm going to leave this part as it is. So when you click on the device, it takes time to go to the device and get the data. But when I click on the switch button, I would like to receive a response instantly, like back to this page. But on the back end, it's the Celery task is being run. Okay, so maybe even I will. How interesting! This didn't work. Exception. Connection reset by what is going on here? Django base. I have never seen this error before. Django literally just failed. Its built-in server. Okay, whatever. So yeah, so we click this button, we submit a Celery task on the queue. Instead of this, I would like to see like task submitted or something. Okay, like message task submitted, or the interface, this is being switched on or something. Yeah, and then I can go ahead and like reload this page and then see if this changed something or not. Okay, yeah, I think this will work. Okay, good. So this part is working. Now you have to redo some of it. So we have to redo this part. Well, we kind of redid it already. So here we will say, well, first of all, I will move somewhere this. So okay, elif request method post. Where is our task? Okay, our task is here, switch interface. Okay, so I have to import it first. So from network, import tasks. Okay, and then I'm saying that the switch interface task is going to be tasks switch interface and delay, and then I have to provide args. Now I don't remember exactly how to provide arguments. Oh, okay, it should be fine. So I'm going to provide device ID, and then interface name, and then enable interface. Okay, now I have to move this a little bit up. Okay, so okay, I think I can remove all of this part, and then instead of the this, I can just send the string back Django return string. Yeah, HTTP response. So then I return HTTP. What is going on? Okay, so from HTTP response, I'm going to say interface name is being switched or something. Yeah, so we just will have this page, and ideally I would also want to have a link or something to back to yeah, I would want something like href breeze routing URLs. So device ID link href. Okay, I have to do this. So this is A, and then I have to close A, and then check go to device interfaces page, something like this. Then this task doesn't really matter here. Well, we don't have to assign it, we just have to start it. Okay, this looks more or less okay. This problem with imports kind of bothers me. I think I would have to like change the route for this, but I don't know yet. So okay, let's try running all of this. Actually, it crashed again. No module network. Where is this? Tasks. Okay, tasks from. Okay, I think this should work. And here, so here is our Django. Here we will have poetry. So here we will have to say poetry run celery worker, and I think the first argument is -a. So -a netproc stream log level info pull g event and concurrency 15. I can do 5, for example, for now. Okay, if this works successfully, there are two things that should be seen. Wow, that's cool picture. Okay, the main thing that should happen is this. Okay, so if you run your Celery worker, you must make sure that all of your tasks appear here. If they don't, it means you have some kind of problem. I had 2 days ago, I was troubleshooting exactly that. I didn't have this section, so none of the tasks were registered. I had to do a lot of like changes to this and some other places until I figured it out. It wasn't very cool. So we have tasks, net proc stream celery debug task, and let me bring this up because it's kinda overlaps each other a little bit. So this one, net proc stream celery debug task, is right here. This is our debug tasks that I told you. It's actually good to kind of like leave it. But we also have this network tasks and add mule and switch interface. Now what we can do, and I think I'm going to do it right now, is I don't think I want this anymore. I don't need this anymore. Okay, so I'm going to rerun this. Yeah. Okay, so now we have these two tasks. We have debug task and network task switch interface. So this looks good to me so far. So now we should take a look at our app. Okay, so I go back to our like homepage here. Okay, this works. For some reason when I ask for a fav icon, it says connection reset by peer. Django. You know what? I want to Google it. I don't like errors. So Django built-in server. Django dev server fav icon. Okay, I have no idea what it is. I am not willing to spend more time on this. I'm not sure what this is. It seems like it's happening when you try to get fav icon, but I don't think it affects anything. So what we are going to do, we are going to click on CSR dev. So this is just a GET request, so it will go to the device, pull all the stuff, and then return back. So yes, it's actually blocking. Okay, but now the magic should happen when I click here, and I think I'm going to do it for the loopback just to make sure that I don't kill anything. So if I click here, we should submit a Celery task on the queue. We should see this task in Celery logs popping up, and then we should receive a message that we are switching an interface or something. Okay, interface loopback 0 is being switched, and then there is go to device information page. I like how this looks so far. Let's look on the logs. So if we look on the logs here, look at this. We see receive task, network task, task switch interface. Then this is log from netmic or paramic or whatever, and then it says task network blah 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 succeeded in 20 seconds. Okay, so what this means is you see that this page was returned to us instantly. We didn't wait for the result. But now if I go to device interface page, we should see that the status of the loopback has changed to down, which it did. Okay, so this has changed to down. Let's do this again. Okay, so if I click, well, let's do it on the loopback. Okay, I click here, I instantly receive a result that, okay, interface loopback 0 is being switched. I can click right now on this. I'm going to get all the results right now, depending on what is going to be faster. Okay, yeah, so this was faster. Now only this in the logs I see that the task was done. Okay, so the task was done here, and now if I refresh this page, now we will see that this oh, sorry, no, it was all right actually. It was, yeah, it became up again, so it was actually like around the same time. So yes, this is basically Celery. Now where should we go from here? We are not going to do more on this stream. I think this is pretty much it. We covered Celery and how to use it with Django, but like, how should you improve your application next? Well, the most obvious thing is that you should convert your backend to the API service. Okay, so right now we don't have API service. We just take a Jinja well, it's not Jinja, it's Django template. We fill it in with data and return back. What you should do is you should have an REST API here to return this information. This is the first thing. When you do this, at the same time you also need to build a front end in JavaScript. This is the first piece. Now second piece, and then if you do that, what you can do is on the client side you can periodically pull. So what you can do, the typical example is, I'm going to bring up a good blog on Flask and Celery. So Miguel Greenberg, Flask, Celery. I'm going to just go to the code. I don't want to read the article again. So if you go here, yeah, it's here. So there is this pattern, this one, task ID. So you can create a new route for your tasks. Okay, where if you provide the task ID, you can see if the task was succeeded or not. Okay, I'm thinking if I should do that. Should I do that? I actually think I could do that. Yeah, I think I could do that. So you will actually copy that and well, I think I can put it in views. So let's do this. Dev task status, or say dev get task status, and then we are going to get the task ID, and I think it's going to be a string or something. So we also have to go here, move to the opposite group. So here we are going to have like task, and then you put the task ID, which should be a string. Task ID. And then we are going to do get task status, and then task status or something. So get task status, you receive a request, and then you receive HTTP response. Now I have to check how to do Django return JSON. I think it's JSON response or something. Creating Django JSON response. I usually use a dictionary, not a list. Yes, there is JSON response. So I will also need that from Django HTTP import JSON response. And then in JSON response, you just provide a dictionary. Okay. So I can say here that I'm doing JSON response. Okay, so you get device, you get task ID, which is string. And then I can pretty much copy paste the whole code here, almost. Except of some pieces. I am going to just say the following. Data is, and then ID is going to equal task. Wait, what? So this is going to be task ID, and then the status is just going to be task state. Now I think I had something different. Let me check on my example from the project that I was building. Yes, so from Celery result, okay. From Celery result, import the async result, and you say task.result, and then here. Okay, this is pretty much everything. Now here we'll say JSON response from the data, and then I should fix this as well. Okay, good. So whenever we go to task str task ID, we will use get task status. We will hit this. Now there's additional piece. You see that I added here result. I mean, this our task here by default has a result none. Okay, this task doesn't return anything. So how about we change this a little bit? We will add the result we will add result is a dictionary, where we will say interface name is interface name, and then if we need to shut this down, we will say like shut down true or something. And then if we don't know shutdown, then we say result shutdown false. Actually enabled, let's do up, and then this should be false, and then up should be true. Okay. So we no shutdown, and then the result should be up. And then we say we return this dictionary, which is going to be result. Okay, so then this result should pop up here, right here. Okay, I think yeah, this I will say any. So I do this. I have to also import typing. From typing import any. And yeah, I have to learn how to type properly. Okay, so this result, where we say interface name and if it's up or not, is going to be here. This is going to be a dictionary. So then we return this data as a JSON. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I think something is missing. Yeah, we can provide this at the I really hate writing XML in any kind of Python code or something. It looks so horrible. B, and then B close. And let's say task ID is the ID of the task, which is switch interface task. Well, I will say this task ID is equal to this dot ID. Okay. So then we return also task ID. Okay, good. So this should work. I'm going to kill my worker to reload it, and I don't need to kill Django, by the way. Okay, so we are going to we are going back to our yeah, look at this. So when you go to I'm going to change this, sorry folks. Let's do API URLs. So this is going to be, say, API task and then API task. So if there is non-existing task, it will always say pending. I didn't save this. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so if it has non-existing task, it will always say pending. Okay, I'm not sure if you can change it or not. Now we go ahead and we switch the interface. Okay, and now I have to be really quick. I have to do this. I have a task ID now. I copy this and I go here. It still says pending. So let's look on our logs. So we see that Django logs are up. Now, okay, now this task is done and we have a result here. So if I refresh this page, we see it here. We see ID this, task status is success, and then we have our result, interface name loopback0 is now false. So I created also like an API endpoint where you can check the status of the task. Now if you go ahead and now I can click here. So a couple of things that you can do. One of the things is to do your front end, do this polling based on the task ID so that it refreshes the page when it's done. Another way to do it instead of polling would be WebSockets. So you can open an endpoint which will do WebSockets. I think there is even a project, I'm not sure if it's maintained, WebSockets Celery. I used it once. This one. Yeah, I don't think it's developed anymore. yeah, 2 years ago, but I used it once. So what this allows you to do is you can open open this WebSocket Celery service, and then from your client you also open the WebSocket session to your server. So whenever the task is finished, you get a notification to client, and then you can go reload the page. It's kind of more efficient than just doing the polling every 3 seconds or so. So this is another option. I'm pretty sure you can build your own. There is some example here, Django channels and Celery example. I've never used it before. I just use this WS Celery, WebSocket Celery. There is also Flower. I also have never touched Flower before, so yeah. So there are multiple ways to improve your web app. There are so many different things right now, but let's go ahead and do last tests. I mean, it's not going to change anything, but let's do it. So I want to switch loopback back, and I have a new task ID, and I can go here and check what is the status of this task. Did I put? Yeah, I put it correctly. So it says pending. Our logs say okay that we are connecting, and then task succeeded in 21 seconds. Interface name is loopback0 and app is true. So if I refresh this again, you see that now it's success and we have a result here. So if I go back to device interface page, you see that our loopback is now up again. Okay, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. Since I already have Celery experience, even though it was with Flask, it was much easier for me to figure out all of these pieces. Previously I struggled a lot with Celery. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable. So yeah, let's do summary and wrap up. If you have any questions meanwhile, please do let me know. So today we were looking at Celery, which is distributed task queue written in Python. And in particular, today we used it together with Django, which is a Python web framework, very popular one. The whole idea behind using something like Celery is that you have longer running tasks. For example, the task that sends an email, or the task that connects to a network device and does some network config change. Those are usually considered long-running tasks, so they may take like more than 5 seconds, for example. This presents certain challenges for your web application, both for user as well as for the the backend itself, or the architecture itself. Let's start with the impact on your business, and impact on the developer. So if you don't use Celery, and if you do it like we did before, actually we still have one piece that is not Celery, which is this. When we were getting the interface statistics from the device, this part is still not Celery. When we do this, you connect to the network device, and then you wait for response, and it may take some time, okay? What this really means is that your web worker on the backend is blocked during this time. So let's say you have like a load balancer, and you have a multiple web app workers which process incoming requests. While you do this operation, your backend worker, one of those, is blocked. Okay, what this means is that you're wasting resources in nowhere, and it also means that to serve a certain number of requests, you have to scale up your number of workers. This is not really good idea, since this kind of tasks should be really done in the some other system, so that your web worker could return a result immediately. So this is one challenge on the backend infrastructure. The second challenge is actually user experience. People do not like staring on the loading page for 30 or more seconds. Okay. This is sometimes it may take even longer time. So what you want to do instead, when you click submit, you want to return the response as quick as possible, but on the backend in some other system you can run your long-running task, and then when it finishes, then you do something with the result. So this is the idea behind Celery. It provides you a high-level abstraction how to run tasks in the background if you have a web app. But you don't necessarily need to have a web app, but probably web application is the like top one use case for Celery. Okay. Yeah, so it allows you not to block your web workers and return results to users immediately. And then the front end could be polling via API, like we saw right now. We were I was doing it manually. I was going to like localhost and this endpoint, and I was checking the status of the task. In like front end, you would do it in JavaScript, which would do like every 3, 5 or whatever seconds, check the result of the task. Alternatively, you can set up something like WebSockets so that the server actually notifies you when the task is done. This is another option. Yeah, Celery is very useful. I use it for some of my web work projects, and it's definitely like a tool that should be in your tool belt, so that you know that, okay, whenever I have any kind of long running task, or whenever I need to do something on schedule, or something that I should be able also to retry easily, you should look on something like Celery or alternatives. So this should be kind of like your de facto choice, more or less. Yeah, and this is the whole idea behind Celery. So I don't see any questions in the chat. So with that, I think we will wrap up for today. Thank you very much, folks. I will try to update you about the exclusive stream as soon as possible. Probably it will be something like Tuesday, if everything works out. If not, we'll kind of like postpone it. I do hope that everything will work out and the next stream is going to be exclusive, but as of now I'm not 100% sure yet. Thank you very much for being with me today. We didn't have a lot of people, but that's fine. I hope you learned something useful, and I see you next week. Thank you very much.